It's time to talk about your New York Knicks again. I really wish we could stop talking about them, but they just keep doing dumb stuff. So we just have to keep talking about it. So last week, we obviously talked about the firing of Tom Thibodeau after they were knocked out in 6 games by the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. I guess it was kind of split 50-50 about what people expected it or didn't expect it to happen. And now the coaching search begins. So the Knicks kind of went away from searching down the unemployment line because, you had guys like Michael Malone, you had Taylor Jenkins, Mike Brown, even guys like Mark Jackson are still kind of floating around for coaching jobs. And, there's also like assistant coaches that have done really good jobs on championship teams that the Knicks should have interest in and should hire because these guys could wind up being great coaches down the line. But you know what? That all sounds like good logic. And the Knicks just said, F it, we're the New York Knicks. Let's start asking employed coaches to see if they want to coach the New York Knicks. That is diabolical work. So the Knicks formally requested to speak to Jason Kidd, Chris Finch, and Ime Udoka, and were firmly, swiftly, and almost instantly rejected by all 3 of them faster than ever before. So this kind of leaves the Knicks in somewhat of a hole. We'll put the tweet on the screen right now from the NBA Central. This was from about a week ago. It hasn't been updated yet. But the current odds set for the New York Knicks head coach is led by none other than Johnny Bryant, who we talked about last week. He's the current Cleveland Cavs assistant coach. For some weird reason, Kenny Atkinson's right behind him, even though he's the coach of the year. But he's there. And then you got other good guys kind of throughout. You got James Borrego, Mike Budenholzer. Patrick Ewing, for some reason, is on
What
here.
the hell?
I don't know why.
Is he willing to coach?
No.
I mean, he didn't do it. He did an okay job at Georgetown, but that was about it.
Yeah, that was.
And then you got the usual suspects like Sam Cassell, Frank Vogel, Chris Quinn. And then you got your PR hires like Jay Wright, Mark Jackson, Mike D'Antoni. And then also a good name in Becky Hammond. And obviously now unemployed Jeff Van Gundy. Oh, no, he's on the Clippers assistant staff, Jeff Van Gundy.
Really?
And all the way at the bottom of the list at plus 6,000, got your boy, Stephen A. Smith.
What the hell?
Yeah, I love Vegas.
That is the greatest thing.
I love it. But I mean, I guess we have to ask the true Knicks fan. I mean, Gio, like why are the Knicks going down the employed line of playoff teams? Can you explain this? I'm so confused.
I don't know why they have such a self-centered view of themselves to go out and try to get already like coaches who are coaching good teams, right? Like that just doesn't make sense. Like how much pride do you have to be able to go out and ask people who are secure in their job and are in a good situation to come and coach the Knicks? Like, dude, who do they think they are? You know what I mean?
It's so selfish.
Yeah,
It's like,
know.
we're the Knicks. We play in New York. We have Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
It's almost like they expect it to happen.
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I guess you have to explain yourself on behalf
It's
of your
also
team.
it's also a terrible situation.
It
too.
is. It goes back to money talks, and of course New York. But they started at really three of the best guys out there: Finch, Udoka, and Jason Kidd. But again, none of those teams are going to let those guys go. This is actually a point right now. I don't know who the next Knicks head coach is going to be. I was firm on Johnny Bryant. Right now, I don't know who is going to get hired as the next head coach.
He might not even be considered. That's the point we're at.
It could literally be Mark Jackson in 2 minutes from now can get released. It could literally be Jeff Van Gundy. I know he's out there. It could be.
He's coached the Knicks before already.
Jeff Van Gundy?
Yeah, Jeff in the early 2000s.
I think Johnny Bryant is probably the name, but another tweet here that I have is kind of funny. New York basketball, the best Twitter for Knicks on Twitter. I love them. They are the greatest people on earth. They just put out a tweet 2 hours ago, just like a timeline. 2018, Knicks interview Mike Brown before hiring David Fizdale. 2020, Knicks reportedly interview Mike Brown before hiring Tom Thibodeau. 2025, third time's a charm, question mark. Again, we just said Mike Brown, but I don't think that's a tough situation for Mike Brown to go into right away.
He's not even in the odds. That's how much of a long shot it is.
I think Bud, same thing with him. He's got a Phoenix situation. He's not looking to go anywhere else.
He got canned, bro.
Yeah, no, he got canned, exactly, yeah. I literally think it's Johnny Bryan or Bus, or we could see a name that he just said of an assistant coach that we don't know who it is could easily get the job. I think it's going to take a lot longer than literally a week or so, because Leon Rose said today that, or according to the reports, they're casting a wide net search. Now, I think wide net also applies to college basketball as well.
Wow.
I just from the looks of it, I'm not saying Dan Hurley, but Coach Cal, Coach Pitino.
I just don't think those guys will translate well to the NBA.
That's the problem.
Because these guys, remember, you're dealing with top prospects coming in. You're already dealing with great players. It's hard when you're dealing with a full roster of different kind of play styles, and the opponents you're facing are a lot better than the teams Kentucky or Arkansas or whoever's facing.
Exactly.
You're not going to have those cupcake games against Elon.
Right.
You're going to have, you're going to be playing NBA teams. Even though some stink, they are made up of amazing basketball players.
Yeah. I understand also, like, bringing Johnny Bryan at young mind to coach these guys that are already kind of not young anymore. It's kind of like a recipe for somewhat of a disaster because, the guys are already star potential for all of them, and you don't really have to develop anybody. Like, Johnny Bryan has to, like, at a team like in Charlotte or Washington or, like, Brooklyn. You don't need a developmental guy. You need someone that's going to go right into the team and start making it look better. And that's why I like Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy. It could be someone that just got fired, but I doubt that. So at this current moment in time at 5:34 p.m., I have no clue in the world who the next Knicks head coach is going to be.
It's going to be me.
I have
it's definitely going to be
no clue.
Had Gio at a plus 10,000.
According to reports, Jason Kidd does want the job.
Really?
Yes. But
I feel bad for him.
unfortunately, he got rejected. Kidd can also resign from his poll at Dallas Mavericks head coach and go over to the Knicks.
Okay.
But that's only if he really desires that. And I don't know if you could still trade for head coaches in the NBA anymore.
You can.
But again, I feel like, that trade, Nico Harrison could trade Jason Kidd away for a player or so. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I doubt that. They locked up Kidd last year. It's kind of they have a plan with Cooper Flag coming in now. That would be crazy if they lose Kidd and they got to bring in a new head coach now.
Imagine
Coach Cooper Flag.
Imagine Thibodeau winds up in Dallas, coaches Cooper Flag, ruins his career because he's terrible coaching younger players.
Well, if he's an assistant.
You just won't freaking play him.
Yeah, he's not going to play Cooper Flag.
He's going to sit on the bench.
But yeah,
I would Tyler Kolek minutes.
Right.
It's crazy. I have no idea. I mean, it's an open book. It's an open whole book for us right now for figuring out who's going to be on the sideline next year.
Yeah, it's kind of what it is really with regard to the Knicks. I mean, someone in our comment section had told us a couple days ago, if the Knicks are in a mess, then what was the past 20 years? The Knicks are in a mess. Let's be brutally honest. The team has a stupidly high payroll. You're going to wind up having to pay Mikal Bridges a copious amount of money over the next summer or two. Karl Anthony Towns is slated to make $66 million in 2027. They have no draft picks. And, you clearly have roster problems from top to freaking bottom.
They can trade Cat, though.
They could trade anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you can even get a good return for Jalen Brunson if it gets to that point.
Right.
But that's the problem though. The Knicks can't do that because the Nets are not giving them their picks back. Mm-hmm. The Nets want the Knicks to suffer and stink, and the Nets could very well be in the Celtics position 10 years ago, where you're getting top seeds in the playoffs in a few years, and you have the top 5 pick. That's huge. Those picks are unprotected. I think the coach is going to be scapegoated regardless, however many times it takes for it to happen. And I just think this roster is going nowhere fast. But let's go to the Knicks believer. Gio, what do you think? You agree, disagree? What's your thoughts on the future for this franchise?
Oh, man, it's tough. They're in a tough spot. I mean, I think they could trade Cat because I don't know if you want to pay him all that money. Trade him away. I'm pretty sure there's teams out there that can use him. So I would say trade Cat away, get some assets back in return, and and then just try your best with who you got right now, Brunson, Mikal, OG. I mean, it's still going to be a decent team. I still think they'll make the playoffs with that team, but they're not going to be contenders or anything.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it.
That's already an L though.
Yeah.
Because that's not what the Knicks should be doing. Like
any route they take is an L at this point.
Like how do you make these kind of lateral pivots and you're just as good as you were before?
Right.
That's the problem for me. And I just can't seem to get past that because if you make those types of trades, you need to win a championship or at the very least get to the finals.
Yeah.
And I think they might have pulled the Nets and just peaked your first year and fell short.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem. And that's why you don't gamble after overachieving the season before, because they were a game away from the conference finals. But I just don't think they should have made it as far as they did. And that gives you false hope for the future. You see the shiny new toy and you want to get it.
Well, they overachieved this year as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Every time the Knicks made the playoffs, it was some sort of an overachievement, and then they made a stupid move, like giving Randall the contract extension in 2022. They shouldn't have done it. And now you're left in a situation where you're playing with no house money at this point. You're just kind of doing whatever to try and get yourself by. And I think the coach is going to be super important here, because if this coaching search nets another fired head coach in a couple of years, I think Leon Rose is out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally how I see it.